He was algebra. Most people found him hard like dealers at casinos. He was quick to pull your cards. He never knew his dad, and he blamed it on his mom, not in touch with his feelings. He emotionally scarred, made a promise to himself that he'd never give his heart, so only gave his any time it got hard to. Broads he would meet, little tricks he would call them, promised them the world, and he would never call them. Kept this up for years, but then there was a problem. Walking down the street, he heard a voice call him, didn't recognize the voice, but he was algebra. Most people found him hard like dealers at casinos. He was quick to pull your cards. He never knew his dad, and he blamed it on his mom, not in touch with his feelings. He emotionally scarred, made a promise to himself that he'd never give his heart, so only gave his any time it got hard to. Broads he would meet, little tricks he would call them, promised them the world, and he would never call them. Kept this up for years, but then there was a problem. Walking down the street, he heard a voice call him, didn't recognize the voice, but was shocked when he saw the eyes of a child that looked just like his. He flipped through the cards trying to remember this trick that he played, but he found that her name was elusive. No need for a test. The child's face was conclusive, proof of a burden that he would have to run from. Genetics, a sprinter that you can never outrun. He took the baton from a man he never knew and hated this girl for what she tried to do. She had other options. She didn't have to choose to have this little kid for a one-night stand, then try to track him down and want him to be your dad when he never had and really doesn't want to be tied to a woman who reminds him of his mom. So he moved on with no second thoughts. There was no divorce coming. He was married to the streets. The ghetto was a butcher, so he wound up with some beef. Cold man, cold heart. One night he felt the heat as 3 silver bullets pierced right through his skin, went to sleep on the ground and woke up in the intensive care unit with nobody there. Soon realized that nobody cared. First time in his life, this man felt scared, prayed to God for his life, not out of faith, out of fear. It was there that he saw the 2 eyes reappear, the same eyes he denied from the very first sight. It was through his closed eyes that he finally seen the light, that the child was the only thing he had in this life. He had always done wrong, but now he wants to do right. He knew his life was in need of a change like Obama, so he cut all the drama with his baby mom before winding up in court in front of your honor, being stripped of his dignity, respect, and his honor. So he stripped off his armor and bore his soul, tried to be a farmer to the seed he'd sown, unconditional love, something he'd never known. He couldn't stop the tears that came to his eyes, couldn't figure out how to get lost time, so he took it as it came, tried to live in the moment, one step at a time on this road to atonement. Peace, y'all. So I am happy and elated to have this opportunity to share with y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Big shout out to Art Starts and Rise for making this possible. I am Dwayne Morgan, been here doing this for a minute. Happy to have this opportunity to share some of my work with y'all. I'm inspired to do my art just because of being alive. This is part of how I understand the world that I live in. This is how I help other people think about the things that we go through. So I think every day there's a story, every day there's inspiration, and I just look at what's around me and look at what's happening in life and try to find, the stories and the art and the creativity in that. This time has been great for me for creativity. I think my creative output has been rivals any year of my career. I think just staying present, looking at what is happening. There's just so many stories to choose from. So I think I've been, just doing photography and writing and doing all sorts of things, just staying creative because there's just so much inspiration and so many ideas out there right now. To be a gift. Born into this world male, packaged in black skin, is to be constantly reminded that your life is disposable, that it lacks meaning and isn't protected by the law. You live with the knowledge that justice is a drunk that will not be served. We, the black gifts, are the first to be accused and the last to be believed. We're the guilty until proven innocent, the aggressor despite the evidence. We're the hoops for which loopholes are made. We're the sambos, the puppets. Our value determined by the worth we bring our puppeteers. So dance, Negro, dance. Rap, Lord. Dance, Negro, dance. Rap, black boy, rap. Run, boy, run. But what about those of us who are regular, who are average, who don't have gifts or talents that the world wants or needs, who are just their bodies packaged in black skin, stuck on modern day plantations, being abused at will, and people wonder why we seldom smile and it seems like our looks could kill. We are the ones who put basketballs in our sons' palms before they can walk and only dribble with the hope that they will grow to dribble beyond their packaging. We are the ones that make elevators go quiet, purses and loved ones clench tighter. We are the deer that stare down the barrel of guns, but there is no license needed to hunt us. We are the suspicious packages at the airport or in any store with goods that we aren't supposed to be able to afford, whether in a hoodie or a suit, accused of driving while black in minivans or coupes. We are the black licorice discarded at Halloween, the silhouette used for target practice by the police, the black men who spend their days wanting nothing but to be human with respect and dignity. So this is for every Trayvon, Jaquan, Marcus, Jordan, Dwayne, for every black man considered a nobody despite having a name, for everyone who has ever felt the pain of race, for the empty seat beside a black man on the train, for we are the ones who meet death on cold asphalt, discarded like roadkill. We are the ones, worthless bodies packaged in black skin that nobody seems to want. We are the voiceless. We are the ones. There's a line out the door of 13-year-old black boys dressed in their Sunday's best, accompanied by parents looking stressed but understanding this rite of passage. It's picture day. So we dress up our teens and make them say cheese, continue this routine every 2 years, images archived online in case our sons die gone too soon. This way, the media can be given the official images that we want used, not the ones they always seem to find that have us looking like we've lived a life of crime and are unworthy of compassion, empathy, inquiries, investigations, and no one wants to be here. This is no one's idea of a fun afternoon, a good use of family time, taking pictures in case our sons die, but everyone knows that a picture says 1,000 words, and this might be the only obituary spoken heard, because we are living in a world where more black boys will die in Chicago than soldiers during the Iraq War, where black boys will continue to die from being poor, with poor options and poor choices, leaving us pouring out liquor, spilling spirits for lost spirits, because black lives only seem to matter when they're dead. So every month we put aside funds for our son's education/funeral fund. We live in the now. Tomorrow seems like a cruel joke. When you grow up in communities that make you play Hunger Games for survival, creating rivals out of street codes, often outlined in chalk in your street clothes, we think we're dying prematurely. They think we're dying right on time. So every 2 years, we reluctantly join this line, ensuring that the first suit he wears is not the one that he's buried in, that he sees how handsome he is, the potential he has, that he gains the desire to live so that these pics can be used for nothing more than special occasions that we celebrate. So let me fix your tie. Stand up straight. Smile, son. It's picture day. Thank you. So, you know what? This has been a tough year for a lot of us, and it's very important that we always try to keep our self-care as a priority, always try to keep our mind sharp, always try to be as playful and realize that life is a beautiful experience. None of us know how long we're going to be here, so it is up to us to find things in life to enjoy every single day. And no matter what has been thrown at us, especially, as black people, as black artists, we've always found a way to get through and found a way to make it. So I want to close off on this piece. On your mark, get set, and so it begins. On the dark continent of enlightenment, the place from where all history comes, a people who were so ahead of their time they were sending text messages when they only had drums. Out of the starting blocks, we were off to an early lead as world travelers and explorers, sharing our philosophies, creating universities and structures that would make the world stop and wonder before passing the baton on to the relay's next runner in the Caribbean Sea, who lost a bit of ground through the Middle Passage and slavery, but nobody said that the race would be easy. So for over 400 years, they continued to run, limping through the pain, knowing that cramps will come and it's going to hurt sometimes, but you've got to focus and keep going through the plantations, the lynchings, and the hate, even when the spectators in the stands call you other than your name, because it is not what you are called, but what you answer to that is important. Victory is an uphill climb, and we've got to continue to rise like Lazarus, knowing that even the slightest of steps can mean so much. Sister Rosa Parks sat down to stand up, so I can't give up as I try to make sense of this baton that's been placed in my hand while I struggle just to be accepted as a man in this world that seems more concerned with whether or not I'm endowed down south when I'm all about being endowed in the places where it counts, in my family and my community, because because knowledge of self is like a garden. If it is not cultivated, you cannot reap a harvest. Victory will come to those who choose to run the hardest, and it really doesn't matter if you know the secret, because not everyone will believe enough in themselves to do something with the information. No one was made to be a spectator in life. We are all the active participants in the race to fulfill our destiny. So when the baton comes, take it and run, because failure isn't a crime, but aiming too low is. Because if you reach for the top of a tree, you might never get off the ground. But if you shoot for the stars, you might at the very least get to the top of that tree, and I might not get to the finish line with you, but I will continue to strive to carve out my own space before passing this baton on to a new generation of runner, confident in victory because success, it runs in my race. Thank you all very much for your time.